Hi everybody, today we're going to read Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, written by Julia Barrett and illustrated by Ron Barrett. So what do you guys see on the cover of this book? What do you guys see on the cover of this book? I see a man. He's holding an umbrella. Why do you think he's holding an umbrella? Why do you think he's holding an umbrella? Maybe because it's raining? Because we hold an umbrella when it rains, right? And I see that the sky is gray and the clouds are gray. So when it's gray, when the skies are gray, that means it's going to rain. And I see that the man's holding a plate. Why is he holding a plate? It says cloudy with a chance of meatballs. Is it raining meatballs? I've never seen meatballs coming out of the sky. I only see rain and snow coming out of the sky. So this is funny. Why are meatballs coming out of the sky? Why is he holding a plate? And why does he have a fork, a spoon, and a knife in his back pocket? Let's read and find out. Cloudy with a chance of meatballs. We were all sitting around the big kitchen table. It was Saturday morning. Pancake morning. Mom was squeezing oranges for juice. Henry and I were betting on how many pancakes we could eat, and Grandpa was doing the flipping. So it's Saturday, it's the weekend, it's Saturday morning, so they're all sitting around the kitchen table, and it's pancake morning. So Mom is making orange juice. Look, this is Mom. She's making orange juice out of the oranges, so she's squeezing the oranges to get the juice out. Henry, this is the girl and Henry, and they're making bets how many pancakes they're gonna eat. So they're guessing how many pancakes are they gonna get. They're gonna get 2 pancakes, 3 pancakes. So look, I think they're moving their hand up and down to show how many pancakes they're gonna get. And then Grandpa is doing the flipping. Look, this must be Grandpa, and he's flipping the pancakes. And look, I see a dog. A cat is sleeping. So they're all getting ready for breakfast to have pancakes. So they're all getting ready for breakfast. They're gonna eat pancakes, they're gonna drink juice. I wonder if they're gonna have anything else for breakfast. Seconds later, something flew through the air, headed toward the kitchen ceiling, and landed right on Henry. After we realized that the flying object was only a pancake, we all laughed, even Grandpa. Breakfast continued quite uneventfully. All the other pancakes landed in the pan, and all of them were eaten, even the one that landed on Henry. So look, so they were making breakfast. So Grandpa's making the pancakes, and a few seconds later, something flew through the air and landed toward the kitchen ceiling and then landed on Henry. So it was a pancake. So the dog and the cat were chasing each other. So they must have accidentally pushed a pancake out of the pan. It went flying through the kitchen and it landed on Henry's face. But they all laughed, and then they continued having their breakfast. So look here, they're all having breakfast together. The mom, the dad, Henry, the sister, they're all having breakfast together, and everyone ate all their pancakes. Do you guys like eating pancakes? What do you guys like eating in the morning for breakfast? What are some of your favorite foods? So look, they like to eat pancakes. Do you guys like to eat pancakes? What other foods do you think they're gonna have for breakfast? Let's see. That night, touched off by the pancake incident at breakfast, Grandpa told us the best tall tale bedtime story ever told. Across an ocean, over lots of hungry, bumpy mountains, across 3 hot deserts and 1 smaller ocean, there lay a teeny town of Chew and Swallow. So look, now it's time for bedtime. Now it's bedtime. And Grandpa is telling Henry and his sister a bedtime story. He's gonna tell them a story. The story is going to be about a teeny town that's called Chew and Swallow. Isn't that a funny name for a town called Chew and Swallow? So the town of Chew and Swallow must be near mountains, because look, I see many tall mountains. So we're gonna learn about the town of Chew and Swallow. Who do you think lives in this town? What do you think the people do in this town? How do you think they play together? What do you think they do together? Let's see. Let's learn about the town Chew and Swallow. In most ways, it was very much like any other tiny town. It had a main street lined with stores, houses with trees and gardens around them, and schoolhouse. About 300 people and some assorted cats and dogs. But there were no food stores in the town of Chew and Swallow. They didn't need any. The sky supplied all the food they could possibly want. The only thing that was really different about Chew and Swallow was its weather. It came 3 times a day, a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Everything that everyone ate came from the sky. So this is the town of Chew and Swallow. It has a very funny name, Chew and Swallow. I never heard a town be called Chew and Swallow. Have you heard of a town called Chew and Swallow? I sure haven't. So it's telling us that Chew and Swallow is like every other town. It has stores, houses, it has trees, it has school, it has people. It's like a normal town, like every other town. But there are no food stores there. There's no food stores because all the food they need comes from the sky. And the food comes 3 times a day. So it comes for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. So their weather is food. Our weather, what's our weather? Our weather is snow, rain, sunshine. Do we get food from the sky? Where do we get our food from? So this is a very silly town. They get their food from the sky. Their breakfast, their lunch, and their dinner comes from the sky. I wonder how it comes. Let's see, let's learn more. Whatever the weather served, that was what they ate. But it never rained. It never rained. It never snowed. And it never blew just wind. It rained things like soup and juice. It snowed mashed potatoes and green peas. And sometimes the wind blew in storms of hamburgers. So look, this is how they get their food, from the sky. It never snows there. It never rains there. It snows for us. It snows. It rains. Sometimes it's sunny. Sometimes the wind is blowing. We don't get our food from the sky. they get their food from the sky. So sometimes it it rains soup and juice. It snows mashed potatoes, so their snow could be mashed potatoes. And the wind could blow hamburgers. So here I see peas, I see mashed potatoes, I see hamburgers. So look, I see different foods coming from the sky. The people would watch the weather report on television in the morning, and they could even hear a prediction for the next day's food. When the townspeople went outside, they carried their plates, cups, glasses, forks, spoon, knives, and napkins with them. That way they would always be prepared for any kind of weather. If there were leftovers, and there usually were, the people took them home and put them in their refrigerators in case they got hungry between meals. So look, this guy is looking at his television. He's looking at the weather. We hear the weather so we can know if it's going to be cold, if it's going to be hot, what the temperature is going to be, if it's going to snow, if it's going to rain. Because if it's going to rain, we need to get an umbrella with us, or a raincoat, or rain boots. Or if it's going to snow, we need our winter hat, gloves. But in this town of Chew and Swallow, they look at the weather to see what food they're going to get. So the weatherman makes predictions of what food they're going to get, what food is going to fall from the sky. So look here, they had pancakes here. Here I see dessert, pie. Here I see soup. So look, everyone, so look, this lady over here is trying to catch a pancake. She's trying to catch a pancake. So everyone is trying to catch food. So everyone's trying to catch their food. So they go outside with their plates, their cups, their spoons, their knives to catch the food they want to eat. The menu varied. By the time they woke up in the morning, breakfast was coming down. After a brief shower of orange juice, low clouds of sunny side up eggs moved in, followed by pieces of toast, butter and jelly sprinkled down for the toast, and most of the time, it rained milk afterwards. For lunch, one day, frankfurters already in their rolls blew in from the northwest at about 5 miles an hour. There were mustard clouds nearby. Then the soft wind shifted to the east and brought in baked beans. A drizzle of soda finished off the meal. So look here. This is what they got for breakfast. So first the juice came, then the eggs came, then the toast came, then the jelly came. So look, this tree is covered with breakfast food. It's completely covered with bread. I see so many pieces of bread, eggs. Look, even the squirrels are eating, the people are eating. There's so much food everywhere. So look, here, for lunch one day, frankfurters already in their rolls blew from the northwest at about 5 miles an hour. There were mustard clouds, so mustard clouds. Here they got hot dogs. Look, so here there's mustard and hot dogs everywhere. There's mustard and hot dogs everywhere. Look, everywhere. So here's breakfast one day, and here is what they got for lunch. And there's food everywhere. Do you think that the town eats all the food that comes from the sky? What happens if there is leftover food? What do you think the town people do with the leftover food? Let's see. Dinner one night consisted of lamb chops, becoming heavy at times with occasional ketchup. Records of peas and baked potatoes were followed by gradual clearing with a wonderful jello setting in the West. The sanitation department of Chew and Swallow had to gather had a rather unusual job for a sanitation department. It had to remove the food that fell on on the houses and sidewalks and lawns. The workers cleared things up after every meal and fed all the dogs and cats. Then they emptied some of it into the surrounding oceans for the fish and turtles and whales to eat. The rest of the food was put back into the earth so that the soil would be richer for people's flower gardens. So look, so here was another time they got jello, they got lamb chops to eat, they got jello ketchup, potatoes. Look, this was a dinner that they got. And look at this huge jello. That's a very big piece of jello. And then the sanitation department. Do you guys know what a sanitation department is? It's the people that pick up our garbage. When we leave our garbage on the sidewalk, the sanitation department comes and picks it up. So in the town of Chew and Swallow, the sanitation department doesn't pick up garbage. It picks up food that fell from the sky that people did not eat. So every time food comes down from the sky, the sanitation department collects the food. It gives it to the cats, the dogs, and it also empties it out in the ocean so the fish can eat the food. So the sanitation department doesn't pick up garbage here, but it picks up food. So do you think this town has garbage? Who do you think picks up their garbage in this town? Do you think it's someone else? Let's see. Life for the townspeople was delicious until the weather took a turn for the worse. One day there was nothing but gorgonzola cheese all day long. The next day there was only broccoli all overcooked. And the next day there were Brussels sprouts and peanut butter with mayonnaise. Another day there was pea soup fog. No one could see where they were going, and they could barely find the rest of the meal that got stuck in the fog. So look. So here it says, the Chew and Swallow diggest spaghetti ties up town. So look, they got so much spaghetti this time that it tied up the town. Look, spaghetti is everywhere. Everyone is tied up in spaghetti. So then, one day, they only got cheese all day. They only got cheese. They didn't get anything else to eat except for cheese. And then the next day, they got broccoli, but the broccoli wasn't cooked very well. Look, it wasn't cooked very well. And then the next day, they got Brussels sprouts and peanut butter with mayonnaise. So they got Brussels sprouts with peanut butter and mayonnaise. And I don't think the kids look very happy about this. Look at their faces. I don't think they're happy that they got Brussels sprouts, peanut butter, and mayonnaise to eat for their lunch and dinner. And then another day, they got pea soup fog. And it was so much pea soup that they could not, and they weren't able to see. Look, it's all over. So look, now their weather for food is getting a little messed up. They're having a few problems. Now they're not getting many food options. They're only getting one, and it's very strange. They're getting only cheese. Have you guys ever eaten just cheese for lunch or dinner? Or have you just eaten only broccoli for lunch or dinner? So now, what do you think the people in this town are gonna do if they're not getting a lot of food options? What happens if they don't like the food? What are they gonna do now? How do you think they're gonna get food that they like? If there's no stores, do you think maybe they're gonna build a store? Let's see. The food was getting larger and larger, and so were the portions. The people were getting frightened. Violent storms blew up frequently. Awful things were happening. One Tuesday, there was a hurricane of bread and rolls all day long and into the night. There were soft rolls and hard rolls. Some with seeds and some without. There were white bread and rye and whole wheat toast. Most of it was larger than they had ever seen bread and rolls before. It was a terrible day. Everyone had to stay indoors. Roofs were damaged and the sanitation department was besides itself. The mess took the workers 4 days to clean up, and the sea was full of floating rolls. To help out, the people piled up as much bread as they could in their backyards. The birds picked at it a bit, but it just stayed there and got staler and staler. There was a storm of pancakes one morning and a downpour of maple syrup that nearly flooded the town. A huge pancake covered the school. No one could get it off because of its weight. So they had to close the school. So look, now the weather is getting all messed up. Look, so here they had a big storm of bread. So they got bread that was huge. They never seen bread that size ever before. So now everything is becoming bigger. The food's becoming bigger, bigger, and bigger, and it's not stopping. The food is continuously coming down from the sky. So there were soft rolls, hard rolls. There was different kind of bread, and bread was falling from the sky that it damaged ceilings, roofs. There was so much bread coming from the sky that it was damaging houses and people couldn't leave their house. And look, the sanitation department took them 4 days to clean it all up. And look, they piled up the bread so the birds can eat it. But it was so much bread that the bread was still there. And then another morning came pancakes. These pancakes are huge. Have you ever seen a pancake this size before? It is huge. It's covering up the school. The students couldn't go to school because the pancake was on their school. So they had to cancel school for the day. And look, the helicopters are trying to take the pancake out of the building. But the pancake's so heavy. Let's see how they're gonna remove the pancake. Let's see what happens. Lunch one day bought 15-inch drifts of cream cheese and jelly sandwiches. Everyone ate themselves sick at the end, and the day ended with a stomachache. There was an awful salt and pepper wind, accompanied by an even worse tomato tornado. People were sneezing themselves silly and running to avoid the tomatoes. The town was a mess. There were seeds and pulp everywhere. So look, the weather is getting more crazier and crazier. Look, so then for lunch one day, they got 15-inch drifts of cream cheese. So look how much cream cheese they got. And jelly sandwiches. Everyone ate themselves sick. So look how many jelly sandwiches they got. So many that the people were eating and eating and eating that they got a huge stomachache. Then there was an awful salt and pepper wind, accompanied by even worse tornado. Look, they got a tornado. Look. Of salt and pepper and tomato tornado. Look, that's a tomato tornado. So the foods are becoming bigger, larger, more amounts. The sanitation department cannot clean it up. They got so many peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that everyone got sick. I wonder what's gonna happen. Is the food gonna stop coming from the sky? Do you think it's gonna start raining and snowing instead of food? Let's see. The sanitation department gave up. The job was too big. Everyone feared for their lives. They couldn't go outside for most of the time. Many houses had been badly damaged by giant meatballs. Stores were boarded up and there were no more school for the children. So a decision was made to abandon the town of Chew and Swallow. It was a matter of survival. So look, now the sanitation department gave up. It wasn't gonna clean up the food. Look how big the food is now. Huge giant hamburgers. There are huge donuts, huge pasta. So now meatballs coming from the sky, bacon. So now there's different food coming from the sky at the same time. It's damaging houses. And everyone's scared. There's no school. People can't leave their house. It's damaging the roofs. But now people have to leave the town of Chew and Swallow. Where do you think the people are gonna go? Where do you think the people are gonna go? Are they gonna go to another town? Let's see. The people glued together the giant piece of stale bread sandwich style with peanut butter, took an absolute necessity with them, and set sail off their rafts to new land. So look, they're going to new land. They're gonna go find a new town. So look, the people glued together a giant piece of stale bread sandwich. So they made a giant bread sandwich, and they made a sail, and they're leaving. They're leaving the town of Chew and Swallow. They are leaving because it's not safe anymore, because all the food is falling from the sky. It's too big. It's too dangerous. Where do you guys think they're gonna go now? Are they gonna go to a town where it rains and it snows? Do you think they're gonna buy their food from a store? Let's see. After being afloat for a week, they finally reached a small coastal town which welcomed them. The bread had held up surprisingly well enough for them to build temporary houses for themselves out of it. The children began school again, and the adults all tried to find places for themselves in the new land. The biggest change they had to make was getting used to buying food at a supermarket. They found it odd that the food was kept on shelves, packed in boxes, cans, and bottles. Meat that had to be cooked was kept in large refrigerators. Nothing came down from the sky except rain and snow. The clouds above their heads were not made of fried eggs. No one ever got hit by a hamburger again, and nobody dared to go back to Chew and Swallow to find out what happened to it. They were too afraid. Henry and I were awake until the very end of Grandpa's story. I remember his good night kiss. So look, they took the bread and they found a new town. And look, they made houses out of the bread. That's how big it was that everyone made their house out of bread. So now in this town, there's no more food coming from the sky. No more food is coming from the sky. In this town, the people have to go to the store and buy their food. And in the store is where they find all the food they want. And now from the sky, it rains and snows just like us. So in this town, they get rain and snow just like us, just like we do. The next morning, we woke up to see snow falling outside our window. We ran outside for breakfast and ate it a little faster than usual so we could go sledding with Grandpa. It's funny, but Even as we were sliding down the hill, we thought we saw a giant pat of butter at the top, and we could also smell mashed potatoes. So look, and then the next day they went to sleep, they woke up and they saw snow. Look, so much snow, and they're going sledding. Do you guys go sledding when it snows? They're having so much fun sledding in the snow. The end. The end. Bye.